Welcome to Retirement Millionaire Daily's Weekly Update, where we answer questions from readers like you. This time of year is one of the most popular times to indulge in both champagne and sparkling wines. In fact, every year, the last week of the year, right before New Year's, Americans buy about 39 million bottles of champagne. That's why today we wanted to address 5 facts that are important for you to know about your favorite glass of bubbly. Now, the first fact has to do with dementia. You may remember a few years ago, there was a study that came out advertising that champagne can help ward off dementia. Well, unfortunately, this isn't exactly true. You see, the study was very small, it was done on rats, and it really just measured how well they could navigate a maze, both before and after they indulged in some champagne. Unfortunately, that doesn't really line up with how humans develop dementia and whether or not it can help us. So don't use that as an excuse to have a lot of champagne this season. Our second fact actually has to do with the health benefits that have been proven in champagne. And there are 2 parts to this. The first is polyphenols. Now we know these are inflation-fighting molecules that are found in other types of wine, but it turns out that it's also in champagne and sparkling wines. And this is great because, as we know, inflammation causes a whole host of diseases, everything from heart disease to diabetes. The second part of the health benefit is that the carbonation in the alcohol also helps with feelings of fullness. So instead of wanting to eat more like you do if you eat artificial sugar, you're actually going to want to eat less, which can be very helpful if you're at a holiday party with lots of tempting foods. Now, our third fact has to do with acid. Champagne and sparkling wine typically have a pH level of about 4. And pH, of course, is a measure of how acidic or basic something is. Anything 4 and below is considered erosive, and the problem here is that it can hurt your teeth. But keep in mind, anything like soda, coffee, orange juice are even lower on the pH scale, and we drink those regularly. So as long as you're maintaining good oral health and brushing regularly, you should be totally fine. Now, our fourth fact is also about acid, this time about acid reflux. Some people actually avoid carbonated beverages, including sparkling wine and champagne, because it can trigger their heartburn. And a lot of that is because of the trapped air bubbles that can sometimes bubble up into your esophagus and cause that burning sensation. Now, the important takeaway here is that all alcohol, sparkling wine, champagne, even regular wine and beer, any kind of alcohol, can cause this problem. And that's because the alcohol itself actually relaxes your lower esophagus. So if you have a drink and then about 2 to 3 hours later you go to bed, all that acid is going to go ahead and work its way up into your esophagus. So the best key here is to make sure that you drink several hours before you go to bed or lay down, any kind of relaxing position. That will help keep your acid in place in your stomach. Now, our fifth fact is probably the most serious. The carbonation in the alcohol actually increases how quickly that alcohol is absorbed into your bloodstream. That's why champagne and sparkling wine can get you drunk faster than, say, regular wine. A good tip for this is to make sure that you drink slowly and to also have a glass of water in between alcoholic beverages. And that will certainly help not only with the rate of absorption, but also keeping you hydrated throughout the night. If you're looking to celebrate this season, you can also try some sparkling wines that are less expensive than champagne, anything like a Cava or a Brut. In fact, my boss, Dr. David Eifrig, really likes the Mum's Brut. You can read more about that in our latest issue. If you have any other recommendations or other types of champagne you'd like to share with us, please send all of that into our feedback line, along with other questions that you'd like to see covered in our videos. Now, this is the last video of the year, so please have a safe and wonderful holiday season. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in 2018.